Hey, it's Chris. With the Apple Watch Series 10 release coming up on the horizon, there's so much pent-up anticipation because we're approaching the 10-year anniversary of Apple's groundbreaking wearable. So while it's 100% accurate to say excitement is through the roof, it's also accurate to say that Apple fans have some concerns. So in today's video, we're gonna go through not just the latest rumors, but also what Apple fans are buzzing about, their reaction and anticipation to what legitimately could be some groundbreaking new features or some potential deal killers. So get ready, because we're gonna fully explore whether the upcoming Series 10 is gonna be a big deal or a big dud. Before we get into it, let me just remind you, my new course on shooting professional video with your iPhone is now available for pre-order. When you pre-order, you also get my course, Learning to Be Productive, completely free. This is what iPhone footage looks and sounds like straight out of the box, with no expert knowledge, no tweaking or tuning of the settings, and it's only okay. I'd like to show you how you can turn it into something that looks a lot more professional like this when you dial in and understand all the different settings in Final Cut Camera, Apple's brand new camera app. So that pre-order is linked up down below. I'm so excited for it. Get yourself 2 courses for the price of 1 today. All right, well, let's get into this. Of course, I'm wearing the Apple Watch Ultra. This isn't the brand new one. I did review that. This one is the first generation Apple Watch Ultra. And this is the Apple Watch that I use all the time, but I have a long history of using and loving Apple Watches. Now, the first rumor that we're gonna discuss, and we're gonna go through these really rapid fire and then get to what people are buzzing about, is that similar to the Apple Watch Ultra here, the new Series 10 is going to have a larger screen. Well, let's put it this way, larger screen without the higher price tag. How about that? And here's the thing, I've loved having a larger screen on the Ultra here. The reason is your fingers are the size they are, and a bigger screen means bigger targets for you to hit. So if you're using something like the calculator app, for instance, that makes a huge difference when you're trying to hit these little buttons. But then of course, a larger screen just makes things easier to see as well. Now we're also expecting this Series X to have a thinner design, which stays in line with the Apple tradition, even though Johnny Ive's out of here, of slimming down current models. The Series 10 is also rumored to get a next level chip, which would enhance its AI capabilities. If you paid attention to everything going on at WWDC, you know Apple's got a whole new suite of AI features. Some of that's gonna come to the watch, including making its way into the health functionality of the Series 10. Speaking of health, the Apple Watch Ultra, Apple's ultimate Apple Watch, did not get the new blood pressure sensor, but it's rumored that the Series 10 could be getting some new health sensors, including perhaps sleep apnea detection. But the thing that I think a lot of people are really excited about is the potential to get some new magnetic bands. Now, not everybody's super excited about that, but there are a lot of people who are like, you know, this is a little cumbersome having to slide these in and out with the little buttons here. So we're definitely gonna talk in depth about the potential pros and cons of that. Now, the rumors are expecting a launch date around the next version of the iPhone, the 16, which would mean September, but it's possible that we could have to wait until late 2025. So I've spent a fair amount of time looking at and analyzing what people are saying about these rumors and how it lines up with their purchase expectations. And I have to say, one of the reasons I got the Apple Watch Ultra here is because I wanted better battery life. A lot of people who use the regular Apple Watch also want better battery life. And that's one thing that they're concerned about. If this device is slimming down, how's the battery life going to be? Probably Apple's gonna come out and say, hey, it's the same old battery life, the same great battery life. Well, a lot of people are gonna be disappointed by that legitimately because they're looking for big improvements, but when you slim down the case, you don't get those big battery enhancements, usually without the bigger watch chassis to go with it. And as we go through some of these, my main goal here is to kind of facilitate a discussion and help you kind of line up your thoughts before the release so that if any of these rumors turn out to be the case, you're basically ready to make your decision. So the two sides of the coin here are that improving the battery life would really go a long way toward making this more reliable for daily use, for things like fitness tracking, if you really use this for the health and fitness, for sleep tracking, not just for notifications and messages, then better battery life is all important. Now, the flip side is that a lot of people don't care that much. They're okay charging it. They know what the Apple Watch is, and they're like, I'm gonna charge this every day, basically, and be completely fine with that. I'm really interested to know what you think about this. This is the big issue for a lot of people, so leave me your comments. Let's talk a little bit about the potential to get some magnetic bands. I think everyone's first reaction to that is, oh, that sounds cool, but then people start to think about it a little bit deeper and they're like, well, how secure is that going to be? Especially if I'm running around, doing anything sport related, for instance. Is that gonna stay on? Because you think back to Apple's magnetic bands that actually latch magnetically, and maybe that magnet could have been a little bit stronger. So if that's how you're actually going to attach the band to the body, is that a good idea? Well, it's not hard to see why Apple might go down this route. It could really simplify the design, maybe lighten the design a little bit, and then also make some extra room inside the case here for feature improvements. Like what? Maybe extra sensors, maybe a bigger battery. And then other people are like, no way, I do some really vigorous activities and I can't be worrying about what I'm doing and whether this is gonna fall off. The other thing that has people talking is, what's the compatibility gonna be like of all the bands that people have spent years collecting and purchasing that use this old locking mechanism? Are you just gonna be out of luck, not be able to use those anymore? Every time you add a new feature, there's always trade-offs, so it's never as simple as people kind of assume it is. Again, let me know your thoughts on that particular issue. Let's talk about potential new health monitoring features. So many people are excited to maybe get blood pressure monitoring or glucose monitoring. The Apple Watch is already a must-have for so many people for so many reasons, a lot of them health and fitness related. So if you could add those sensors in, keep the battery life good, we're talking about trade-offs. Those two sensors in particular absolutely have the ability to really, seriously change the narrative and lifestyle of so many people in terms of what these things are capable of doing. Now, if only they could find a way to get rid of this farmer's stand here. There's probably several reasons why these particular rumors continue to swirl around the Apple Watch, but there's also several reasons why I'm sure that these features have been delayed, because Apple in particular is going to want to ship something that's very accurate. I actually literally think that people do hold Apple to a higher standard in terms of the quality that they expect. And some other companies, some Android makers, might actually be able to get away with lesser quality sensors and stuff, but that's not what people want from Apple. And so you have to ship near perfection. Now, as we get to the next item, I realize I'm using Apple Watch Ultra here, which really is not at all the best example to be talking about. First of all, though, this is the Apple Watch that I actually use and wear, and I sent back my review units that I did the reviews with. So there's that, but also kind of works out as we talk about the design, because this is a thick, big Apple Watch. And a lot of people are concerned about the Apple Watch getting too thin. And I get that. That was one of the reasons why I got this, because I wanted something really, really rugged, so that even though I don't go swim with the sharks and climb up Mount Kilimanjaro every weekend, I got something that I can bang into the side of a treadmill or something and it's gonna be all right. When you make these devices slimmer, yes, there's a possibility you're gonna have to treat them with more respect and care. I've actually seen a lot of people say, I don't want a thinner Apple Watch or iPhone or iPad or name the product. I want more battery and I want more durability and a more rugged design. Here's the thing though, options. If you want the rugged, you've got it right here with the Ultra. I actually kind of like the idea of having more options in the lineup and a reason for each of them to exist. Got different kinds of users out there. Some people are more like couch potato-y and sit at the desk all day and they don't need something super, super rugged. Or there's a lot of people who don't use a case on their iPhone and they just really baby their iPhone or get AppleCare, and they just prefer not to have that extra weight. Well, not have the extra weight or have something that feels more clunky like this right here, slash that sort of person who doesn't put a case on their iPhone. They want to see the actual beauty of that industrial design. But the non-Ultra Apple Watch is absolutely a thing of beauty, and there's no reason to cover that up. And to make it thinner is actually pushing that sort of design and for that user forward, I think. Like usual, you're going to find a range of people who are excited about the new band possibilities or sensor possibilities, while simultaneously finding a bunch of other people who are like, these are just super incremental upgrades and there's nothing to get excited about. Almost always it comes down to, have you owned one of these before and when was the last time you've upgraded? If you're trying to upgrade every year, yeah, you're gonna be disappointed, everything's gonna feel incremental. If it's been a while, on the other hand, you may not even pay attention every year and you're like, hey, these really add up, these small changes over time. Now, I don't know, based on those rumors and the comments and the feedback that we've been going over here, the perspectives, whether or not you think this is going to be a big deal or not. And it could be that some of these things don't play out or we get some surprises. But I know that the expectations are super high because this thing is a 10-year anniversary sort of device, and they've called it the Series X potentially. That's what the rumor is. And when the iPhone came out with the X model, I don't know if you remember this, it represented a huge major shift in the design, in the language that was used, and it felt like a totally different device than what had come before. It was a dividing line. Ultimately, whether this ends up being a big deal or a big dud is going to depend on whether or not these rumors pan out and how much these potential changes end up impacting users. Sometimes Apple comes out with some cool features, but they're sort of periphery features. What do I mean by that? They're not something that you might necessarily use every single day, but during the keynote or the presentation, you're like, whoa, yeah, that's really cool. Technically, that's very impressive. I would like to have that capability. But then as you go about your day-to-day life, you don't actually find yourself with an excuse to implement or use or even remember those features. And it's that remembering that kind of tells you, well, it might not have been all that important in the first place. After a while, I imagine if you're Apple or any tech company, it gets hard to really wow and impress people. But I think with the Series 10, we may actually have an opportunity for Apple to come out with something that does have a bigger wow factor than just the yearly incremental upgrades. We'll see. Let me know your comments. Don't forget to check out the course. The new course is all about helping you shoot pro video with nothing but your iPhone. You don't have to have the latest iPhone, but I will show you how to do the multicam that works with your iPad. I'm using it right here. This is so good. I can't wait to teach you all about it. Maybe you're an aspiring YouTuber, or maybe you have a business, you need to do some marketing. Maybe you just want your family moments captured in a more professional way. All of that's going to be possible, and you'll get my other course, Learning to Be Productive, 100% completely for free instantly when you pre-order. So it's linked up down below, and I'll catch you in the next video. Later.